lonely farmhouse. A family heard a noise. It came from inside the walls. A scratching sound, a quick scurrying. The Irving family thought it was a rat. They lived on a quiet piece of land called the Isle of Man. An animal in the walls was normal. But then the sound changed. It was not a squeak. It was not a growl. It was a voice, a tiny high voice that spoke clear words. It came from the dark spaces behind the wood. The family stood still, their blood turning to ice. The house was no longer just their own. The voice told them what it was. It said it was a mongoose, a spirit, an extra clever mongoose, it said. It told them it was born in a hot country called India, way back in the year 1852. It called itself Gef. The family was trapped. Their farmhouse, named Dorlish Cashin, stood all alone. The nearest neighbor was far down a long, winding road. There was no one to call for help. There was nowhere to run, so they listened. Their fear was huge, but under the fear, there was something else. A strange wonder. Could a spirit really talk? Could an animal from so long ago live in their walls? The line between real and unreal was breaking. Gef began to prove he was more than a voice. He whispered secrets. He knew what the neighbors were saying in their own homes, miles away. He would tell the family their private words. The farm was lonely, but Gef's ears heard everything. The fear became sharp and real. Gef would announce visitors. Long before a person appeared on the road, the little voice would say their name. It was impossible. The thing in the walls was a spy. It saw the world outside their windows. The safety of home was gone. Every wall had ears. Every shadow could be listening. The family was being watched by something they could not see. Their own house had turned against them, filled with the knowledge of an unseen thing. Soon, the haunting became physical. It was not just words anymore. Small stones would fly across a room, thrown from behind the walls. Objects would lift and fall. The family watched, helpless, as their home came alive with unseen hands. Gef wanted to show he could be useful. Lights would flick on and off. Then he started to hunt. Dead rabbits would appear on the doorstep in the morning. They were gifts. A strange, cold offering from the talking mongoose who lived in their walls. Gef did more than just talk. The family would hear him running in the walls. They would find objects moved from one room to another. He would even leave small gifts, like a dead rabbit, on the floor. But this strange friendship with the thing in the walls was about to turn. The playful games began to feel different. Gef was not just a trickster. He had a temper. When he got angry, the house would feel a cold, deep dread. The air would grow heavy. The happy sounds of the farm would go quiet. The family learned that their strange guest was not safe. The entity began making threats. It wanted to be in charge. If the family made it unhappy, it promised to do terrible things. The house was no longer a home. It was a prison. The voice from the walls threatened to burn their house down. It spoke directly to the father, James. It told him that it had the power to kill him, but that it would not. This was a show of control. The family was no longer dealing with a curious animal. They were trapped by something powerful and mean. They lived in fear, wondering what it would demand next. Soon, the outside world heard about the talking mongoose. Investigators came to the lonely farmhouse. They wanted to find the truth. Many of them suspected the 13-year-old daughter, Voire. Some believed she was a gifted voice thrower, a lonely girl playing a cruel trick. The voice often seemed to follow her, but the family, especially her father, swore that Gef was real. They believed they were haunted. The mystery got deeper. James Irving finally asked the voice what it truly was. He needed to know what lived in his home. The answer was not simple, and it was much scarier than a mongoose. The entity said it was a ghost in the form of a weasel. It said it was from another place, calling itself the fifth dimension. It claimed to be the eighth wonder of the world. This was not an animal spirit. It was something else entirely. This thing in the walls was not a simple spirit tied to the earth. It was something else. It was an old voice from a place with no name, a strange power that loved to cause fear and confusion. It wore the shape of a small animal, but its mind was ancient and dark. The story of Gef touches a fear we all know. It is the fear of what lives in the dark spaces of our own homes. The fear of a sound you cannot explain. An animal ghost is a strange thought, but an ancient thing from another place, pretending to be an animal, is a deeper horror. It means the things we ignore could be something else. The scratching in the wall, the whisper on the wind. It means the safe places are not really safe. The danger can already be inside, listening. Years passed. The Irving family finally sold the lonely farm. The daughter, Voire, moved far away and grew up. She refused to speak about Gef for the rest of her life. But her father, James, never changed his story. Until the day he died, he swore that every word of it was true. His friends and neighbors said he was not a man who told lies. He was broken by what he saw. What happened to Gef in the end? The man who bought the farm from the Irvings claimed he found it. He said he shot and killed a strange yellowish creature. It looked like a mongoose, but it was not quite right. He showed the body to people in the town, but many who saw it said it was not the clever creature from the stories. They thought it was just a strange stoat or a weasel. The mystery was not solved. The farmhouse is gone now, torn down long ago, but the story remains. It is a shadow that stays on the land. It leaves us with a question that cannot be answered, only felt deep inside. Can an animal spirit really talk? The Irving story suggests the real question is far more terrifying. What ancient thing was hiding in their walls, pretending to be a friend, learning their secrets? The silence from that lonely farm is the loudest part of the tale. It is a warning that never fades. The things we cannot explain are always close. They wait in the quiet places, watching from the shadows between worlds, ready to speak. The story of Gef did not end when the family left. It left a deep, strange mark on the world. A tiny, lonely farmhouse on a quiet island became a place of mystery. People from all over heard the tale and wondered. They could not forget the talking animal spirit. The tale lived on because the Irving family never changed their story. Through all the jokes and disbelief, they stood firm. James Irving believed in Gef until the day he died. This powerful belief made the story feel real. It made the fear last. Think of a dark, old prison, long after it has closed. In the empty cell blocks, guards used to hear whispers. They said the voices came from the cold stone walls themselves. The whispers would tell secrets and say cruel things, making the guards feel watched and afraid. This is a pattern seen in many hauntings. The strange voice is not just a sound. It is smart and often mean. It seems to enjoy games and riddles, twisting words to cause fear. Like Gef, these voices play with the minds of the living. Some people call these spirits poltergeists. This is a German word for noisy ghost, but it is not always the spirit of a dead person. It can be a strange, unseen force that loves to cause trouble. It throws rocks, slams doors, and whispers from the dark. The result of such a haunting is always the same. It breaks a home. The family inside lives with constant fear. They cannot rest. The endless noise and tricks wear them down until their safe place feels like a trap. After the Irvings were gone, their small farmhouse stood empty for a long time. It became a destination for ghost hunters and brave visitors. They would creep through the quiet rooms, hoping to hear a whisper or a scratching sound. But the house kept its secrets locked inside its decaying walls. The strange thing is, no one else ever heard from Gef. The spirit, or whatever it was, vanished. It seemed to be tied only to the Irving family. When they left, the voice in the walls went silent forever. It was their ghost, and theirs alone. This leaves us with a deep and simple fear. The fear that our homes are not truly ours. The idea that a strange, thinking thing can live with us, hidden. It can watch from the cracks in the walls, learning all our secrets. And the final, chilling truth is the question that never goes away. Was it a clever trick by a lonely girl? Was it a spirit from another world? Or was it something else, something we have no name for? The real haunting is not knowing the answer. That is the ghost that follows us home.